Welcome to the NGEN Markets updates. So we have now released a new functionality called technical analysis and charting in the NGEN Markets terminal. So this particular set of a tool will help you to analyze based on the technical analysis all the mutual funds, stocks and even the indices. Now let's take the overview of this entire tool. We have given the set of graphs in the system here. And what you can take a look towards here is the tools options which you can use for certain sets of technical analysis which will help you in analyzing any particular set of an asset. Similarly, you can load a mutual fund or a stock or even an index. So let's say for an example, we are loading a blue chip fund. And you can now see a blue chip fund is now being onloaded into the system, whereas you can do the technical analysis of it. You can now take a look towards the indicators in the technical analysis. To do that, head over to this tab and you can now see different sets of indicators in our system. Now let's take some basic indicators. For an example, if you want to load simple moving average, you can just type in SMA, and once you click on it, you can now see the series, the index and even the period. So let's take a period as 260. And once you change the period and once you add it into the system, you can now see the simple moving average for this particular set of an index. Similarly, what you can do is you can do exponential moving average as well for any particular set of the data series. So all you need to do is just type in EMA, and once you click on it, you can now see the series and even the period. So let's take a period 260 again, and once you add it, you can now see the exponential moving average given in the system for any particular set of an index, mutual fund or even a stock. Now let's take a review of different sets of indicators in the NGEN Markets terminal. Now you can explore the indicators in the indicators tab, and once you explore it, you can see there are lots of indicators which we have given. So for an example, let's say we are taking a look towards MACD. So you can just search MACD in the system. And once you do it, it is all about, you can check all the data sets which are given with the index, the period, the short period, long period and even the signal period. And once you add it into the system, you can now see the MACD, which is moving average, convergence and divergence. Now it will help you to measure the relationship between the two exponential moving averages in the system. Furthermore, you can also check the relative strength index. To do that, head over again to the tab. So you can just type in RSI, and you will see the relative strength index into the system with the similar sets of the stats like index, period and even the decimals. So you can choose to have different sets of customization, and you can now see relative strength index is also being added into our charting. Now here, if you want to remove one of the technical indicators, it's pretty simple. What you need to do is head over to the indicators tab, and we have given this edit button. And once you click on this edit button, you can choose to remove whatever you want. So for an example, let's say we want to remove simple moving average, or we want to edit the period, you can easily do that. Let's say if we edit the period and save it, you can now see the data sets being edited based on the simple moving average of 100. And similarly, when you go back and if you want to remove the simple moving average, all you need to do is head back to the SMA, remove it directly into the system. Now you can see only 3 indicators, which is exponential moving average, MACD and RSI, which is being added into the charting tab. Now you can also explore upon different sets of indicators in our system, as we have given plethora of options in the indicators tab. So for an example, stochastics is given, we have linear regression slope indicator, we also have the trend line. So you can just explore upon it and then take it forward whenever you're doing a technical analysis. Now let's take a review of a couple of important charting tools to assist you in charting. So for an example, we have given some certain sets of tools for your review. Now what you can do is you can take a look towards simple shapes. You can onboard simple shapes and even the inputs of labeling into the charting. So for an example, if you want to label one of the point, you can easily do that. Just click on that point and you can see the label here. Similarly, you can input some of the shapes here like circle, ellipse and even the rectangle. So for an example, if you want to input a rectangle here, you can easily click on one of the price series and you can now see a rectangle being onboarded into the system. Now these kind of shapes and inputs are easily editable based on the line width, line color, and even the fill. And you can also delete these shapes for your own purpose in your own analysis in the charting. Now let's review a very important tool called the measure tool in the charting. To do that, head over to the measure tool tab. You can now measure the x-axis, y-axis, and even the both of the x and y-axis. Now let's take a look towards the y-axis here. Now once you click on the y-axis, you can now measure the y-axis based upon the axis you have chosen. You can see the minima, the maxima, the average, and the bins for the y-axis. Similarly, you can do that for an x-axis as well. So for an example, if you choose to have an x-axis, you can see the minima, maxima for x-axis. Now here you can also input the y and the x-axis together into the system. To do that, you can do that here in the system, and once you measure it, you can now have both the axes together with the measure tool. Now measure tool is very useful if you want to measure the minima, maxima, and the average in one single go, and this will help you in a proper technical analysis in the system for the NGEN Markets charting. Now let's review a couple of other tools like zoom in functionalities, the line segment, the flagging, and even the vertical label. Now here, if you want to zoom in based on horizontal or vertical manner, you can do that into the system, and you can also zoom in based on all the x and y axis. So for an example, we are just zooming in based on all x and y axis. Once you are done with it, you can now see that it is now zoomed in into the chart. Similarly, what you can do is you can also add in line segments. Then we have given different sets of options in line segments, such as arrow segment, and you can just click on it and you can just indicate different sets of scenarios from one particular point of the time to another point. Now these data sets are completely editable, and you can efficiently add as many line segment as possible. Secondly, what you can do is you can also add in flaggings. Now flaggings, we have given different sets of options. You can add in flag circle, flag diamond, and even the flag square. So let's add in one of the flag square into the system and indicate one of the scenario. So for an example, we can just click on it. We can indicate the name as scenario, and once you have added into the system, what you can do is you can now see the scenario being added as a flag. Similarly, what you can do is you can also add vertical labels. To add vertical labels, it is pretty simple. What you need to do is just click on it. You can now see the vertical label being added. Similarly, you can add as many vertical labels and edit it into our NGEN Markets charting, and this will help you to indicate and make different sets of technical analysis charts into our NGEN Markets terminal. You can also review different sets of other tools in our NGEN Markets charting. One of them is to check the current price indicator. You can check that here from the system, and you can see the current price being onboarded here. Now we have given other tools like crooked lines, so you can use crooked lines with different sets of options. One of them is Elliott 3 line. We have Elliott 5 lines as well. So let's say for an example, we are giving a demonstration of the Elliott 5 lines. Now you can create these kind of Elliott 5 lines into the system, which will help you in proper analysis and proper charting. Now these kind of lines can be used. We have given lots of options here. Similarly, you can delete this line or even edit it accordingly into the system. Now here we have also given other sets of advanced sets of tools, which are also called as Fibonacci and Fibonacci time zones. So let's explore Fibonacci here. So for Fibonacci, what you need to do is you can just pull in one of the data sets here, another data sets here, and you can now see the Fibonacci being onboarded into the system. Now that's how you can onboard any kind of chart into the Fibonacci system. Now here you can also input the time zone. So for the time zone, all you need to do is just input one point in the horizontal way, and you can now input the time zone accordingly into the system. Now these kind of lines are pretty advanced. You can use it accordingly in the system. We have given several sets of options in our NGEN Markets tool to analyze any sets of charting for mutual funds, stocks, and even the indices, and all the customization are already available. So all these data sets will be used from your side, and then you can use proper sets of charting in the NGEN Markets. So in conclusion, you can use several sets of advanced tools in our NGEN Markets charting terminal to analyze different sets of assets. So for an example, we have given Pitchfork, we have given parallel channel, and even the time cycles for you to explore upon. And you can furthermore download these sets of charts in image or a PDF format, or you can also print this chart as well. So if you want to download in PDF, you can just click upon it and the PDF gets downloaded for this particular set of a chart. So that's how this works out for this entire demonstration of the NGEN Markets charting. This is a new update which you can explore upon. If you have any question, you can ping this upon support@ngenresearch.com. Thank you everyone.